People want that immediate result. I'm going to diet in one day. I'm going to lose 10 pounds tomorrow. No. I'm going to go work out one day and I'm going to be super fit. No. I'm going to read that one book and then I'm going to be great. No. It's day in, day out. Day in, day out. Consistency, grit, adaptability, unpredictability. It's the end of January. Have you put in the work over the last month to build that confidence? 90% of the people fall off the wagon already. So if you're in competition to yourself or for your business or whatever, that means you only have 10% of competition to deal with. So if you just put in the work, you're going to outlast, outlive, and therefore be one of the few left standing to win the game. But you got to win the day every day. The amazing thing, my friends, is that it's compounding interest. It's a positive self-reinforcement. The more work you put in, the more confidence you get. The more confidence you get, the more work you put in. The more work you put in, the more confidence you get. The more confidence you get, the more work you put in. It just self-fulfills. All you got to do is keep going. All you got to do is keep going. Put in the work daily. There's no guarantee that the outcome is going to be what you want. But I bet you, even if you don't hit what you want, wherever you end up, if you put in the work, it's going to be a whole lot better than where you are now. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the End-to-End Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Yun Win. And if you're new to the show, or as you've been listening for a while, my friends call me the Ninja or Prolific Ninja, and because my fans are my friends, you can call me Ninja too. This is the End-to-End Podcast, the Alpha to the Omega, the beginning to the end, talking about life, motivation, self-development, self-improvement, success, and offering you morsels in this all-you-can-eat buffet called life. We are done with January, ladies and gentlemen. We are done with January. And what does that mean? That means you've either picked up on your momentum of hitting your goals, hitting your resolutions, which are actually should be goals actually, and are picking up momentum leading into the rest of the year, or you've wasted a month of the year. But that's okay, because there's still 11 other months, which represents opportunity to get on track and to lead to the road to your success and to get better, okay? And so this podcast, this particular episode is going to be a pick-me-up for you if you haven't been hitting your goals, or if you've let yourself down, or you feel like you've failed already, and also a pick-me-up to help you keep going if you are hitting your stride. But before I do that, before we get into the topic of today, I want to start this episode as I start my day. If you're new to the show, if you've been listening for a while, I always start my day waking up, giving thanks to the Lord, my God, my universe, the universe, for another opportunity to shine in the light and bring inspiration to those around me and around the world, especially those of y'all listening in other countries, which there are thousands of y'all. So thank you for that. So with that, I want to thank, start the day with great gratitude and gratefulness, but then I also want to start the episode with gratitude and gratefulness. So for you all out there who have been following, listening, sharing, spreading the word, spreading the show, thank you so much. I do the show on my own time, on my own dime, spend a lot of money. There's a whole team. We shoot a lot of raw footage to narrow it down to a product that we can get out to you all. And so thank you all for sharing the show. And so the way this works, because this is on my own dime, on my own time, we don't have sponsors, we don't have a huge marketing budget. So we only grow if you share the show. So it's on a value exchange. So like I said, I like to say, if you found value in the show in any way, or found it worthwhile to share it with somebody else, if you found value in this show, please do share it. As I like to say, if you're knowledge swole, share the show. That's how we grow. Okay. So again, January's done. We're into February. For me personally, momentum keeps picking up and picking up. For whatever reason, I am sprinting hard. You know, if you've listened for a while, I just finished a half marathon in January. Surprised at my time, under 10 minutes. I think I was at 9:50. But in the last two training runs, I'm still running, but not as much as before. But in my last two runs, finally broke a 9-minute mile. Kind of crazy. It just keeps compounding and compounding and compounding. And that is just a small example of what the topic is today, which is, what does it actually mean to put in the work? What does it actually mean to put in the work, and what does it actually mean to grow confidence by putting in the work? Okay? in order to do anything great, in order to be great, in order to even have a chance to hit your goals, that's not saying you will hit them, but to have a chance to hit your goals in life, in your career, in your family life, in your relationships, however you want to define your goal, in order to have a chance, you got to put in the work. And I came across two little clips last week that just was a stark illustration of what it means to put in the work. Okay, and a byproduct of putting in the work is building confidence. So the first example was Tony Robbins was on somebody's podcast. I forget who, and forgive me for not calling out that podcast. But he gave a little analogy. He said, I'm a basketball guy. My son plays hoops. Huge basketball, passionate fan about the game, not about players or teams. But in any case, he was giving an anecdote about Steph Curry, greatest shooter of all time in the however many 75, 80 years of the NBA. Steph Curry, greatest shooter of all time, has made something like 3,500 three-pointers over the course of a 15-year career. Okay, so digest that for a minute. In 15 years of playing, he's made 3,500 three-pointers. Makes him the best three-point shooter in the history of the NBA. Will become a legend. Arguably, his records won't be broken. You never know. Maybe Nate, my boy, will do it. But he's legendary at this point. 3-4-time champion, Hall of Famer, all that stuff. Okay? That's not what was illustrative to me. What was illustrative to me was he makes 500 three-pointers every day. Okay, that's not talking about the number of shots he takes. He makes 500 a day. So when you do the math, 500 a day, this is weekends, holidays, every day, he makes 500. 500 shots a day times 7 days a week times 4 weeks a month times 12 months a year times 15 years. That's something to the effect of over 2.5 million three-pointers over the 15-year pro career. That's not talking about the number of shots he took growing up, as a toddler through high school and so on. This is as a pro only. 2.5 million shots made in order to make 3,500 shots to be the best shooter ever to have existed. When you do that math, 3,500 divided by 2.5 plus million, it's something to the effect of 0.809% of shots made relative to shots practiced. Okay? And the crazy thing is that having made 3,500 shots, he's only shooting at a 42% clip. So he's in games, he's missed more shots than he's made. Misses 6, makes 4. So he makes 4 out of 10, misses 6. But he is still the best shooter in the history of the NBA. I want that to sink in. That's a lot of numbers, a lot of math, but let that sink in for a minute. You're taking 99, you're putting in 99.9999992% more work than you actually have to perform in order to perform to become the greatest ever. Are you willing to would you be willing to do that for your own life? Would you day in, day out, knowing you're probably going to miss 6 out of 10 shots and still put in the work for 15 years straight? You willing to do that? Because that's what it takes. I'll give you another example, and I forget who, this was on another podcast clip I saw. Usain Bolt. There was a time when Usain Bolt, the Olympic sprinter, was the hottest thing in running. I think he's retired. I don't know where his career is now, but the hottest thing in running. And his quote was, I trained for 4 years to run for 9 seconds. Think about that. Running, let's assume he trains 2 hours a day, sprinting. So he's sprinting something like, I forget what the math is. Let me do the math real quick. Hang on just a sec. Let me do the math. It escapes me. So let's do that math real quick. So there's 60 seconds in a minute times 60 minutes in an hour times 2 hours a day times 7 days a week, right? Times 4 weeks a month times 12 months in a year times 4 years. That's 9.7 million seconds of training to run just 9 seconds. And he still may lose the race. He may not get the gold medal. Just let that sink in. That's why it was just a stark illustration to me of the mentality it takes to become the best in the world. And I'm not saying your goal is to become the best in the world. That's like an extreme. But even marginally, a marginal amount of that work, how many people are willing to put that type of work in? 9 seconds out of almost 10 million seconds of training, with no guarantees of winning the gold. 2.5 million shots made, knowing you're probably going to miss 6 out of 10 during the game. You see, it's a mental shift for you. And that's what I say is, if you haven't hit your goals, people want that immediate result. I'm going to diet in one day, I'm going to lose 10 pounds tomorrow. No. I'm going to go work out one day and I'm going to be super fit. No. I'm going to read that one book and then I'm going to be great. No. It's day in, day out. Day in, day out. Consistency, grit, adaptability, unpredictability. Just constantly putting in the work. It reminds me of the word grit. Where does grit come from? What does grit actually mean? Grit means just putting in the work regardless of the circumstance on one singular goal. Now, I don't know if this is fact or not, but most people, when I think of grit, it's because your mind is about to do something hard and you grit your teeth. You bite down on your teeth to give yourself that, hey, I'm just going to go get it. I don't know if that's the etiology of the word or not, but that's what comes to my mind. That's grit. You just grit your teeth and go, right? Because you know it's going to suck, but you just do it. It's grit. But you see, all that put together, all that work you put in, builds your confidence to actually go out and do. That work is the foundation of confidence. Because you see, when Steph takes that shot, he's thinking it's going in. But the math shows he's going to miss 6 out of 10. But every shot, he's thinking it's going in. Why? Because he knows he put in the work. I guarantee you, Usain Bolt, when he lines up at the starting line, he's thinking he's going to win. Regardless, he's thinking no one's going to beat him. Because why? He knows he put in the work. That's where the confidence comes, is putting in the work. Okay? So let's go back. It's the end of January. Have you put in the work over the last month to build that confidence? 90% of the people fall off the wagon already, have fallen off the wagon already. So if you're in competition to yourself or for your business or whatever, that means you only have 10% of competition to deal with. So if you just put in the work, you're going to outlast, outlive, and therefore be one of the few left standing to win the game. But you got to win the day every day. Win the day every day. So that's what I leave with you. 2 stark examples of the greatest ever, top in their game in the world. How much work is required? Now think about that. How much work is required? So when you feel like you want to quit, when you feel down on yourself, when you feel like, oh man, I haven't done what I'm supposed to do, just rewind and reset. It's a long game with specific goals. Whatever your goals are, it's a long game. So just put in the work. And the amazing thing, my friends, is that it's compounding interest. It's a positive self-reinforcement. The more work you put in, the more confidence you get. The more confidence you get, the more work you put in. The more work you put in, the more confidence you get. The more confidence you get, the more work you put in. It just self-fulfills. All you got to do is keep going. All you got to do is keep going. Put in the work daily. Put in the work daily. And again, you may not, there's no guarantee that the outcome is going to be what you want. But I bet you, even if you don't hit what you want, wherever you end up, if you put in the work, it's going to be a whole lot better than where you are now. So put in the work. February is just starting. We still have 11 months in the year to go. A lot of time, a lot of opportunity if you just put in the work. So put in the work. If you need help putting in the work, I have an accountability group that I work with a lot of people. All we do is in the group, you announce, you introduce yourself, you announce what your goal is and over what period of time, and we help try to keep you on task, or I help try to keep you on task to hit that goal. So reach out, DM. If you have any problems with how you should put in the work, which will be future episodes, just DM me on socials, all socials at N2N podcast, or email ask@the2N podcast.com. So I'm going to end my show as I end my day. Before I put my head down on the pillow, I just give thanks to the God, the universe, for another day to be inspirational and to make an impact on the world around me. So I want to thank you all for listening. And as I say, if your knowledge swole, share the show. That's how we grow. If you found anything intriguing, of value, even just a second or two, something I said that inspired you to be better, please do share the show. So be great today. Be even more grateful. And I look forward to talking to you very, very soon. What's up?